I waited for 9 months in the darkness. 9 months before time even held meaning. Well, as good as 9. 9 months on an untold promise of light and the nature of tiny miracles. I was a miracle, you know. That's what they said anyway. The doctors, my parents. A miracle. How's that for pressure? A violent entrance into a violent world, cast from the darkness into the darkness. That was me. The goddamn miracle, baby. He's a quiet boy, isn't he? Let's say. Aunts and uncles that once proclaimed me miraculous. My parents would nod and smile. But I was no quiet boy. I was loud. I was a boy full of noise that would sing like a piano being pushed down the staircase. A head full of thunder that bellowed how death was the only inevitable truth of life. The voices inside me, many, one after another, after another, after another, until I was a boy breathless under the weight of the world I found myself in. Rare moments of quiet rode me like boots over autumn leaves. I saw this world for what it was. He's a quiet boy, isn't he? They'd say. How little they knew. I was cast as the outsider. I don't remember an audition. Yet I understood my role in this plot. And then, without notice, I was recast. From outsider to outcast.
Hello? Hello?
I searched for the same wonder that seemed to infuse every child around me. But my thoughts were forever tinged with a darkness that bled in from the edges. I spent my days in the confines of my own mind. My self-made prison.
Well, Bill, don't you think?
I traveled from child to man, carrying the weight of my heavy companion as a constant. Well, let there be light. She's called Hope. Aptia. How she came to be a part of me is maybe the only true miracle of my story. Or more likely, she was the light that I had been promised. Hope was everything that I was not. She held the size of life in her palm. For her, life was the miracle. For me, it was her. She was life, and she was the miracle. One single footstep beyond the horizon, where the moon hangs a hollow light against the weightless universe of unimaginable colors. That's where we'd find our forever. Those were her words, not mine. We were shackled together with daisy chain hearts, so how could I not believe her every word? I clung to them. Hope quieted my days. It was my distraction and my escape. At night, though, the noise was all mine. As though the dipping sun had stolen my ability to push back the internal static. Or more likely, as Hope slept, I was stuck with me for company. And I'm a fucking dark moon. The loudest of my demons was loss. A bastard gargantuan beast. Yet you rarely hear it coming as its steps are as barefoot on sand. Loss's many voices acted as amplifier to my fear of its very existence.
1,000 lifetimes will never be enough time in her company. Your one single lifetime is a pinprick on a pinprick on a million pinpricks. You can't keep her safe forever because forever is not for you. Although when she goes, you'll feel like it is.
Loss was relentless. and free of mercy.
But you know I've always wanted a child.
I want a child too. We both want a child. But I can't risk it. I can't risk you.
No, but
I can't risk you, darling.
I just feel like we might as well try.
She is a towering oak whose branches hold the cosmos in their grasp. But you, you are the thing that grows away from the light, the unwanted thing.
I wondered if a child would be as a flower to hope in the desert of a man that I too frequently was. A delicate splash, beauty, colour. Our little girl Faith wasn't born into darkness like me. No. She lit us both up as though she held the sun in her tiny hands. If hope had been the muffle for my torment, then faith was its silencer. She was such a tiny thing. But she was the biggest vision of life that I ever saw. But lost still had a card to play. Hope was gone soon after Faith arrived. I like to think that her heart was too full. Needed to beat too hard for the love that bathed her in that moment. But I should have spoken up. I should have said something. I should have let the noise inside out, just this once. Hope needed a child like the earth needs the sun. Without hope, I was hollow. And faith needed better. So when I landed on my parents' doorstep and I begged them to take her, they did, I guess, what good parents do. That was 5 years ago. I haven't seen them outside of my head since that day. All I can tell you is that at the time, it was for the best. Although somewhere deep in the quietest corners of whatever I am, I knew it wasn't. I was alone during the pandemic, when the doors to the outside world were sealed shut. It offered a strange reassurance, like a comfort blanket made from the threads of familiarity. Alone was my default setting. The only demon now with any volume was guilt. But this one could be muffled with drink, daytime TV, and old kung fu movies. What else could the world take from me now? And as for guilt, fuck this guy, fuck him! Emerging from the embraced, solitary months, I'd expected that the world would have softened. Would have been more kind, more considerate, more patient. With a shared crisis, for the second time in my life, I emerged to darkness. The world had grown ever more hateful. Humans, in their absence of one another, seemed not to have missed the warmth, but the cold. And my demons whispered voices were the loudest sound I've ever heard. Anxiety became my familiar traveling companion. Anxiety bites hard. Real fucking hard. A clamp on the chest and a gut punch. It doesn't screw about with etiquette and introductions. It comes in kicking. When the attack started, Escape was all I could do. In fight or flight, I was Icarus, forever spiraling without control. And then, in a rare moment of glacier fresh clarity, I saw my escape plan. I lay a long time beneath that tree. A long time. Just lay there on the cliffside, a fixture from a childhood seeking peace from this world. And as the sun ebbed towards night, I took one step forward. I let my toes meet the edge of the last moment of my life. And in that moment that I had chosen as my last, I saw it. Shivering under light that pushed aside the clouds, I saw it. Carved deep into that old tree, the crude heart and faded letters. I remembered my silly little penknife digging at the bark. The laughter on Hope's lips that I could do something so silly. So cliche, yet so fucking romantic. Rain began to fall from the October sky, and our laughter soared to meet it. And I was untethered from thought for the first time, as though a violent sea had suddenly calmed to glass. Now, in the moment that I had chosen as my last, the rain began to fall once again. And for the first time, I felt it upon my face. Its every note as pinpricks on my skin. I opened my eyes, and I witnessed the world. I witnessed the hollow moon break clouds and the unimaginable colors that cast the universe in shades of magnificence. And then, I swear I heard her voice coming from nothing and everything and all that lived in between. It was hope. It was hope. And so someone else. I knew it wasn't her. It couldn't be. The boundaries of the world told me that it wasn't. Yet it was. Yet it was. Larger than life and just as fragile. It was my little girl, Faith. The child who Hope had longed for. The child whose very possibility had been the arms of a hurricane that tossed my stomach. We both had known the risks. The doctors had made it clear. But Hope, she was a strong character. I should have said something, but I was weak. And then my heart was broken. I should have spoken up. I failed her. I stood a long time on that cliffside. Yeah. I listened to the world. Its voice hung from the tips of the leaves and blew in on the western wind. While inside, there was only one voice that spoke louder than any other. Faith, it said. It sounds religious, right? But no, religion has no part in this. Hope named our child Faith, not me. I chose Daisy. Hope was now gone. while she was here, she was present. She was a towering oak whose branches cupped the cosmos. She was life. It's because of her that I'm still here. And now, I too am present. My heart owes faith a debt it can never repay. But I will try. I will try. I will no longer be life's unwilling passenger. And now, my days have quietened.